I want to talk about conflicts, and I'm talking about inner and outer conflicts and how my behavior around conflicts, about how I'm showing up for myself, how this actually has changed my life when I had a spiritual awakening. Everything changed within, yeah, pretty fast. It was pretty sudden, actually. And I had so many more insights about myself, about how I treated myself, how I got treated, how I placed myself in the world. And I've been asked to share this actually quite often, but somehow it never made it here. So today we are going to change that. My name is Patricia and I'm a certified life coach. I'm from Zurich, Switzerland. So if you're around here, then leave me a comment right down below. I'm curious where you are from. And so with this today, if you are new on my channel, then hit that subscribe button, because sharing and understanding your inner world, learning more about yourself, for me personally, that's where you grow most, and I really enjoy doing this work. So yeah, consider to join this channel. With this, let's go ahead and start this video. As you can see, I'm actually moving a little bit around. I bought myself a gymnastic ball because sitting on the chair all day long somehow really hurts my hips and my spine whatsoever. So I'm trying to uh, make some changes, small changes. Okay, so let's start with the topic today. I want to share this with you because there are certain aspects from your life that we have to reflect on. I believe we have to reflect on, okay, to be very precise. Because if we are not looking into them, we are actually standing still. We are not able to see that we are repeating the same things again, the same habits, the same pattern, the same emotions, okay? We are very much able to control how we feel. To control is not the right word. To navigate, okay? We are in the navigation, we are in the driver's seat. But if we don't know why we feel a certain way, or if we don't know why we have a certain behavior, we fall back and kind of repeat the same things over and over again, even though we don't even want that. And sometimes we are not aware. So here comes my story. I wasn't aware, okay? I had no idea. I was treating myself really terribly. And I mean by that, I would, put everyone else first. Kind of like if I knew what I needed and I saw someone else who, was kind of suffering, I would put them first because I felt like I can handle the pain. And I was treating myself really poorly in that kind of sense. Or when there was any kind of conflict in family dynamic, I I always felt like I'm the problem, and because I'm the problem, I have to kind of having a turn out. No, what is the correct word? When you're saying to your child, okay, you need a timeout. Now I got it. You need a timeout and you need to stand there. And this was kind of like how I was growing up. Like as soon as I had something to say and people didn't like it, I had some kind of timeout. Not in that sense, they would just ignore me, right? And so while having this spiritual awakening and having all those insights and everything just dropping on my head, like, oh my gosh, really, I did this and I behaved like that. Why didn't I speak up for myself? Why didn't I say something? Because clearly that wasn't my mistake. That wasn't my false, you know? I started to see things very, very differently with my spiritual awakening. Now, as you can imagine, that also meant that it was really hard because, you know, people around me didn't really change. I changed, right? I changed. I made a big step into more awareness, more conscious living. I had this huge epiphany about myself, about where I want to go, what I want to do for work. I had huge things in my life I had to clean up, like big mess. And I started to see, okay, what is really important? What do I need in my life? And you know, all those kind of things brought up so many conflicts, and it actually put me in a total different place where I had to learn how to deal with conflict. So I used to very much ignore conflicts because that was my kind of pattern when I was growing up. Okay, I would say something and then I would hear something like, "Yeah, you're not important," or you know, what you have to say is not valid, has no value, or is not considered. So I always felt like my opinion is not considered, and and therefore speaking up doesn't really work, right? Well, that might be true in a certain extent. Also, in the environment I was in, that didn't really work. Like, I could talk as much as I wanted, it didn't really help, right? So I learned that, you know, speaking up and saying your truth, that takes so much courage, I tell you. And most probably you know that because you're here with me, right? Speaking up and really talking your own truth. You know, when I started my coaching business, that was pretty much when my spiritual awakening was on its peak. And I was kind of like sharing that I want to do something else. I want to grow, and I want to live the life I always dreamed of. You know, I want to be my own boss. I want to be the person who is supporting someone else who may not be at the place they are right now. I want to show them and guide them and support them and giving them an ear, you know, and learning with them as well, and being on an eye level. And you know, I had so many things I wanted to do, and my environment wasn't really happy about that, like at all, at all. It was very, that's really unsafe. That's not really good. Or, you know, another thing that you are just going to do, and you're just putting in energy, which is basically wasting your time, and you know, you're using a lot of money whatsoever, and you don't know if it works out, and all those kind of things. And you know, it was hard because I was questioning myself too, but I didn't really receive that support, which was about, hey, this is awesome, you know. I had support in a sense. If there is no, if I didn't need any help from my inner circle, then they were quite happy with my decision. As soon as I was asking for some kind of guidance or financial help, it was a big issue. And so for me, that was always really questionable because I was like, okay, people are building houses, people are building or getting their car, you know, all those materialistic things, or they're getting educated. They mostly are getting some kind of support. But for me, that was never really given. For me, there was not really this emotional support or financial support. I knew I was there by myself, and I knew I had to deal with it somehow. Now, that brought up so many insecurities in myself that I had to look so deep because I wasn't really sure how I'm going to survive that. You see, everything I believed in was gone. I had this epiphany of material doesn't do anything anymore for me. Did that make sense now? Not sure. Yeah. but you got the point. I hope. It didn't make any sense anymore for me. And so I was really like, if it's not that. I was never really into, hey, let's create a family, let's have kids. I wanted my own kind of a business. I wanted my own security. I wanted my own protection. You see, like from here, and everything I've done so far was from here because it doesn't make any sense if you're doing this, blah blah blah. You know those stories, and those conflicts I had within myself and also in the outside while not really knowing how to communicate, how to deal with it, waiting for some kind of apology because it was really obviously not in my, it was obviously not my fault. Never happened. It was hard for me to accept that not everyone thinks the way I think now. You see, I had to realize that there is certain aspects of me now that doesn't go together with the old me. And that was hard because I was shedding off my skin, and not once, not twice, I think 100 times. And I was releasing so much hate, so much fear, so much walls I had built up around myself. And looking back, I was really miserable, like really, really miserable. And all I can say is that standing up for yourself is something that is so empowering. I mean, I cannot even say how much that has empowered me. It was really hard. It was sometimes still is, just so you know. Any kind of coach who tells you my life is super awesome and nothing happens is most probably not really honest. I believe because when you are a life coach, you're in a position where you know how to nurture yourself, how to calm your nervous system, how to stay grounded, how to treat yourself in a very other or a different way. I learned to be way more aware of what my body needs, for example, and that's the main difference. But it's not like I know better than you, you know. It's very much different from going to a therapy, for example, where the therapist is basically taking ownership about the conversation, while going and having a life coaching session, it's about you taking responsibility because you are the expert of your own life. And I'm your sparring partner to help and guide you through it. I'm here to support you and give you opportunities so that you can grow. But I'm not here to take ownership because you missed something or you didn't do your homework. That's not in a life coach's responsibility, which is very much different to a therapist. It's not the only difference, but So let's go back to the coaching, right? To the spiritual awakening, and to really understanding that I had to change my behavior towards my family, towards my friends, towards myself. I had to start within myself to understand, okay, you have needs, how about me? I have needs too, because I'm a human being. I need some things as well. I cannot give you all the time those kind of things while I'm not giving it to myself. You see, I cannot support you in that way that when I'm not supporting myself. You see? I want the very best for you, but I also want that for myself. Does that make sense? And so these inner conflicts you're also having in the outside. So if we are consistently living in a place of the old and you don't like it, it's it's not easy to change, you see. It's hard to change. And especially when you're feeling hurt, when you're feeling pain, when you suffer, when you grieve, that's then when you have to react differently than the last time. You have to catch yourself and make a change. And the more you're changing, the more your brain understands, oh, we are doing things differently now. We are doing things new. You see, there is no real magic, and it's no like, hey, tomorrow your world will be different. No, it's you are more aware of what you're doing, what you're spreading out, what words you're using, how you feel. You are consciously more aware, you are more present, you know what's going on. And not only from inside, but also from the outside. You see people around talking BS. You can sense when something feels off. You know that people are sometimes dishonest, but they're firstly dishonest to themselves. It's not only about they're not respectful to you, for example, if that is one of your values. They are also disrespectful to themselves because they don't honor how they feel. And so not everything is or has to do with you. And sometimes that's really hard to accept, because we believe that if someone rejects us, then it's actually our fault. You see, we did something wrong. While most of the time it has nothing to do with us. That's the whole game changer, right? The whole change. So I'm actually going to leave you, but before I'm doing that, if you want to know more about self-discovery, if you want to know more about your inner world, if you want to learn more about what you can do right here, right now, to make a change, making a shift in your present moment, because there are so many things that you can learn about yourself that are already helping you today, not tomorrow, not the next day, but today. Because having insights from yourself, okay? Insights from yourself are the most crucial ones, because they show you where you stand. And the more you're practicing, the better you feel. I promise you this part. Not all your problems will go away, but you will know how to manage it, how to stay grounded, how to feel safe, how to feel protected and loved. And you will know how to deal with all of this, okay? And in a good way, in a way where you can have space, where you can have the being okay, not to being okay. You see, you don't need to be positive all the time, which is, by the way, quite crap, I find. You see, being positive all the time, that's not really human. So let's skip that part, right? Anyways, thanks so much. And the self-discovery course you find in the description box. There I will link it. And with this, I'm saying goodbye. Make sure that you are actually smiling today. Make sure that you are putting in some kind of positive things for you. You know, start to treat yourself better. Start to learn to appreciate the way you are. Start to align or stand up for yourself in small things, you see, in small areas, because small things together make a big pile. All right, with this, goodbye.